Okay, hello Visionaries. It's been a little while. We're back. It's episode 4, Android Visionary here. And with me, I've got Mike from the Mike Fuller Show. What's up, Mike? You there, Mike? I think he's here. And of course, we've got Deanna, of course, from nerdgasmnoir.net. Hey, what's up, Deanna?
Nothing much. What's up with you?
I just came back from vacation, so I'm kind of tan. Got my I Love Aruba shirt on, so life is pretty good. Mike, missed you in the intro. How's it going?
Good.
Excellent.
Good. Are we started now?
Yeah, we have
Oh, good. All right. I'm Mike.
from the MikeFullerShow.com. Awesome to have you.
Yeah.
So let's get into it. Nexus 5. Wow, we've had a lot of leaks in the past week or so. It's been awesome.
So many.
It's been really, really good. And that video was pretty telling, even though it was a kind of older, looked like it was an older build of key lime pie, I guess Kit Kat, but key lime pie. I think it was like an older build
Yeah,
of key
'cause
lime pie.
on it said on because I looked at it and I was like, it says key lime pie on there, but it's supposed to be Kit Kat. What's going on?
Yeah, that 7-minute video, obviously the hardware looks like it's pretty much finalized, but the software seems like it was key lime pie. So
This is probably just before the deal went down, so that was probably more recent than we thought.
yeah, yeah.
Maybe.
Did the icons look different? I thought the icons with the newer icons look like that phone looks like a weird kind of futuristic phone or something. I don't know. The Kit Kat phone, like the icon for phone, looks different than all previous um, Android versions. So I thought that was pretty telling cue, and that leak didn't have it. Like it didn't have that special new phone icon. That the render today that came from the Canadian carrier TELUS, my home country, TELUS just outed the Nexus with a nice render today. I thought that was pretty awesome, and it kind of confirmed what the designs is going to look like too. So I thought that was awesome.
Yeah, it's really sleek looking. Um, I know that first video. The one thing that's kind of weird for me is the phones. It feels like smartphones are starting to go to that squarer design.
Right,
And
right.
so when I saw the Nexus 5, I was that was kind of a disappointment for me. Like it's a nice design, but it's just not for me. But yeah, it's looking pretty cool. I'm excited about it. There was talk about hopefully Google officially announcing it. What was it, yesterday? And they didn't,
Yeah,
and I was just like,
yeah.
oh man. I was waiting for the news all day.
I didn't think it was gonna be yesterday. I think it's gonna be. That brings us to our next topic. I think it's gonna be. There's like a lot of conjecture around the internet as to when Google is going to like announce KitKat. When do you think it's gonna be, Mike?
I'm looking probably after the iPad announcement next week.
When's the iPad announcement? I don't know what day that is.
The iPad announcement is the 8. Oh gosh, what day is it? Next, I want to say next week sometime. So probably after next week. I don't think they want to get too close to that event because once that news comes out, nobody's going to be talking about anything for a week other
Okay.
than other than iPad stuff. So I'm going to guess after next week.
Okay, that lines up with my prediction. What's your prediction, Deanna?
I'd say like probably I would say like the second or third weekend in November. Close enough to where they could get like the Christmas sales, but also it aligns with like last year when they announced the uh, the Nexus 4 and all of those updates. It was around November if I remember correctly. So I figure they're probably going to do it around the same time this year.
Okay, my guess is October 28th, and I say that date specifically because the KitKat Android. was saying everybody dance now. That was what Kit Kat said, and the android robot looked like he was about to dance. And the song Everybody Dance Now came out October 15th. So they did that like a couple days ago. But the name of the group that had that song was 28th Street or something like that, 28th Street Crew, and so they're thinking that 28th is like the key there. And there's something else. There's another like clue that says something about 28th as well.
Yeah, I heard a lot of that speculation too on another show. I don't know if I've put any faith in that, but maybe.
Oh yeah. Yesterday, that's the other one. Yesterday they put "This Is It," right? That was the Michael Jackson. That was his last movie or whatever, and that came out on October the 28th. So right. They put "This Is It" in like all Kit Kat bars.
Oh, I like this. It's a Scooby-Doo mystery.
So I'm thinking October 28th. And if so, that would line up around the same time that Hurricane Sandy came through last year, which is what put off the Jelly Bean 4.2 announcement or something. So yeah, I think it's going to be it's going to be late October. I think definitely you're right, Mike. It's going to be after the iPad event. I don't know if it'll be as late as November, Deanna, but I could be wrong. It might be. So I'm excited too. I just wish it would come to Verizon. I'm a little bit sad about that, but it doesn't look like it's going to.
I'm gonna have to leave. I'm gonna have to leave Verizon.
I'm telling you, it's nice. Like, I mean, I still have my Verizon phone, but being on T-Mobile is nice. I'll definitely say that. Like prepaid.
I've been looking at the plans. Like, we'll see next year. We'll see.
Yeah. This little bad boy right here is on T-Mobile. This is the N9. So I'm gonna do a little review on that pretty soon. Unfortunately, it didn't quite live up to my expectations, but I digress. So anyway, Kit Kat. Moving on from Kit Kat, the new Galaxy Note 3. What are you guys' thoughts? Like it? Hate it? Don't care?
I like it. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I like it. I don't understand how they're going to market it to people though, because phones are getting back to early 2000 PDA sizes. So I don't know how you would sell that to somebody who's not into gadgets. I've seen a couple of the ads for it that are pretty good. Like one of the ads for the UK is really good because it basically shows off the different features that it has. But I personally like it, but I don't see how they are going to market it to a wider range of people.
Yeah, I think it's pretty. I think it's kind of a specialized item, but I think the people who buy those things are really happy with them. They like the stylus, they like the large screen that they can write on, and Samsung's added all that extra functionality. I got to say that I don't really like non-stock, all the extra stuff that a lot of them add, but in the case of that, I think I've heard a lot of good stuff about the Note 3, and obviously the hardware specs are great, and you can make Android what you want. So in the end, I think that a phone with those kind of specs and that size screen, there's definitely going to be a group of people that are looking for that sort of in-between thing, so they don't have to carry a tablet with them, but they're not restrained by the small size of their phone screen. Because you get somewhere in the middle there, somewhere between 5 and 6, and you sort of got a little tablet in your hand anyway. So it makes you. I know a bigger screen is more productive in a lot of respects. So I think that's like she said. I don't know about the wide-ranging market, but I definitely think that there's enough niche in there to make it worth their time.
Yeah, I definitely agree with both of your sentiments. I think that it is a niche product, and it's going to appeal to a certain type of crowd. However, from what I've already seen myself, and I've been into a couple stores, and it's incredible. Like when I was on vacation and I was in Aruba, there were people down there really interested in the Galaxy Note 3, even though it was about $950 US to buy it there for an unlocked international version. That's the only one they sell there. So it was like almost $1,000, and some people were still interested in getting it. And then when I came back and I went to the Verizon store, I noticed a guy with a Note 3 as well there too. And the thing I've been hearing mostly is that once you go to that bigger size, it's hard to go back to a smaller size. And really, if you think about it, that's for the most part true. Like even my own phones, if I think about it, I've never regressed in size. I've stayed either the same or I've got a bigger phone. So I don't know. Maybe in the next couple of years, especially as we start to move away from phone calls more, I think maybe things like the Note will be even more popular than they are today. So, you know, I think it could actually take off in a big way. And I like the fact that the 5.7-inch device, the Galaxy Note 3, is smaller in footprint than the Galaxy Note 2 and is smaller than the Galaxy Note 1, which is incredible. Yet the screen size is bigger and the battery's bigger and it's faster. Like that's incredible to me. So I'm almost thinking of switching my Galaxy S4 for the Galaxy Note, to be honest. It's just, and the camera is just really, really good. The camera.
I find that, yeah, I'm looking at that kind of stuff too, like cameras. Cameras are starting to be a big thing for me.
Yeah, and I'm taking so many pictures of my daughter, and the camera on the Note 3 was just fantastic. I got to play with it in the store a little bit, and it was just rocking my Galaxy S4 all over the place. So yeah, I think it's gonna be. I think it's a great phone, and I can't wait to see how many people pick it up. So, and speaking of big phones, I think this next phone has got too big, which is the Xperia Z Ultra. It's like 6.4 inches. I mean, and it's got huge bezels. Like it's like the size of this Nexus 7 almost.
It might as well be a tablet, really.
I'm like,
At
wow.
it might as well be a tablet.
Yeah,
How much is that phone?
It's so expensive. That phone is $649.99 for the HSPA Plus version because there's no carrier agreements for Sony in the United States, and $679.99 for the LTE version.
I don't think anybody's going to buy that because I was thinking, like, if it's that size and you got Sony behind it, you can think, well, you know, there's the gaming people that are into that, and they're going to want a big screen to game, but it can also be their phone. But, I mean, you know, the people who are into that are going to be the younger generation. I'm thinking, like, 18-25 group, and I don't know that they're going to be the ones interested in $600, you know, HPS or HSPA plus phones.
Definitely not.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
And as far as mobile gaming goes, they're just going to pick up, like, a PS Vita.
Right.
They're not going to pick up a phone, really.
Right. If they're hardcore, yeah, definitely.
Right.
You know, if they wanted like a phone, but they still wanted, you know, like a big screen, then the Note 3 just beats it out. It's just you can get a Note 3 for $299 on contract.
Right. Like if you're just going to casual game, then yeah, why would you go for the Xperia?
Yeah.
There has to be something else that pulls people to it.
Yeah. And I don't like the fact that they made the bezels just ridiculously huge. If you're going to make a screen that size, make the bezels small. Like the Galaxy Note did. Make it so it's like almost all screen on the front. That's my take. But it just makes it bigger. It makes it unnecessarily bigger to me. I don't know. I think Sony could have done a little better on that device, to be honest.
I wonder if the...
Sorry, what were you going to say, Mike?
I'm wondering if there's maybe they don't have the battery technology that we're seeing in some of the other handset makers, and they're having to compensate by that by making it larger, and then to keep the aspect ratio proper, they've got to use that bezel to get the screen right. So I'm wondering if because I don't ever hear Sony being the company that everybody goes, oh yeah, Sony, they're the one, you know, battery life. So that might be part of the reason for that too. I'm wondering, especially with that size screen.
Maybe, because I think the Xperia Z has a 3,000 milliamp hour battery, but the Note 2 has like a 3,200 milliamp hour battery, I think. The Note 3 has a 3,200 milliamp hour battery, so I don't know. I don't know if they just can't engineer it like so that they could get a bigger battery inside. I'm not exactly sure.
Yeah, nobody's gonna buy that.
Yeah. So the Z1, the Xperia Z1, that's the successor to the Xperia Z. that is also unlocked, unsubsidized from Sony directly for $670, but that's only HSPA plus, so there's no LTE version, which is kind of sad. I hope maybe at least T-Mobile would pick this one up, but they already have the Xperia Z, so I'm not exactly sure if they're going to carry the Z1. But it'd be nice to see a Z1 with the LTE bands, because apparently the Z1's camera is really nice too. So I'd like to see an Xperia get more traction here, but Sony knows. I think the Sony president actually said something this week, or Sony Mobile president. He said something like he knows that the battle here, the battleground is pretty much lost in the United States for Sony in terms of, versus Samsung and versus Apple.
Well, who else you gonna market it to? Because who else is left besides the United States? You got like China, and I don't think they're buying Xperias.
But Japan is, and so is Europe.
Yeah.
Japan and Europe.
I'd like to see those. Do you have numbers on that? Because I'd like to know how many people in Japan. I guess Japan would be the place since it's Sony, but.
Yeah, I don't have the numbers, but I was reading, and Japan is their #1 market, and then followed closely by Western Europe as #2. Like England, apparently Sony's pretty popular, and like Germany, places. But I should definitely back that up with numbers next time. But yeah, I think Sony's pretty much. Sony Mobile's lost United States. That's clear as day. So sucks to be them. So this week we saw in Consumer Reports the Motorola Droid phones actually beat out the iPhone 5S and 5C. That's pretty awesome. Like in terms of the quality.
Yeah, I went through and looked at this story, I wrote up some stuff that I was going to mention. It's not necessarily related to the Droids, but in a way. And it's like, I looked at it, the Droids got really great battery life. You're getting, in some cases, 24 hours out of them, versus in the iPhone when you're getting way less. And I think the article also said that the screen size makes a huge difference. But again, that's not going to make any difference whatsoever to an iPhone user. They're used to that screen size at this point. And if they're coming from one of the previous models, other than the 5, they're going to be getting a bigger screen anyway. So for them, that's a boost. And you just can't, you know what I mean? Like the numbers are going to be so skewed anyway. It might be as far as Consumer Reports is concerned, it's a better phone. But when it comes to what's selling, I don't think these Droids are really selling that well.
Yeah, I don't know. What were you going to say, Deanna? It looked like you were going to say something.
I don't know. I feel like the Droid phone, the Motorola Droids phone, like Motorola phones in general aren't really doing that well, because I was actually just reading something today about how Motorola was losing money for Google, but the Droid phones specifically, they're gaining a lot of following. Ever since the first Droid came out, forever they've been saying that whatever phone is going to be the iPhone killer, but when the first Droid came out, and the succeeding Droids came out, they've been doing really, really good. So I could see the Droid phone specifically doing better than the iPhone 5C and 5S and 5 whatever letter there is. But at the same time, like you said, if there's somebody who's a diehard fan of the Apple iPhones, they're going to be a diehard fan of Apple iPhones. But I think people are starting to get tired of iPhones every year.
I don't know. I think the problem here, because I was looking at some numbers, I couldn't find anything that told me what numbers the Droid phones were getting right now. I did see one on the Moto X, and it said that 100,000 units were shipping every week, with an estimate of about 4.5 million, I think, for the year that they were estimating. Now, if you compare that to like iPhone sales, they sold 9 million iPhone 5Ss and 5Cs combined to 9 million in the first week. So, right there, I know that's the Moto X, that's not the Droid. Mm-hmm. But right there, I think that might be the problem, is that you've got, Motorola's got this deal with Verizon to produce Droid phones, and that's cutting into their own flagship phone. In the next 3 to 6 months, they're going to be faced with all these other handset makers that are bringing out their new flagship phones. And now you've got 4 different phones here, none of which are very, they're all differentiating, amongst 4 or 5 small features. And in the meantime, the iPhone's eating your lunch, and all these other people are going to have brand new flagships. So I really think they should have bet the farm on Moto X and just sit away with these Droid phones. This Verizon deal, it's Verizon's fault, basically.
Yeah, I have to agree with that pretty much, Mike. Verizon, I think the reason though why Deanna might be correct in terms of the Droid sales still being pretty good is because whenever you go into the store, right, the customer sales associate is always going to push Droid phones on you first, right? Mm-hmm. So if some unsuspecting, grandma comes in, they're going to walk out with like a Droid Mini versus like maybe the iPhone because the commission on the Droid line is maybe greater than for the iPhone 5 or 5C. So I could see why, you'd say that maybe the Droids aren't really great, but I think the Motorola still has this contract in the pipe from before Google bought them, right? Like Verizon probably approached them and said, "Oh, you're going to make phones for us for like the next 4 years," and that was back in 2010. So they still haven't quite finished out the whole contract to say, "Oh, we're done with Droid phones now, and now we're just going to make phones for all the carriers." I think they still have some type of contract with Verizon, which makes it so that they're legally obligated to make a certain amount of Droids for the next, maybe let's say 2 years.
Yeah, Verizon's not going to let go of Droid because the Droid saved their ass pretty much.
Right.
Oh, I'm sorry, the Droid saved their butt pretty much.
Right. Yeah, when they couldn't get the iPhone sale at first, that's the only thing that kept them going. In fact, like you said earlier, that's probably one of the main reasons people are using Android phones today. I still hear people refer to their Android phone as a Droid constantly.
That's right. Me too. Yeah. Me too. So I don't think the Droid brand is going anywhere, but what I think Google is doing is they're putting a lot of effort into things like the Moto X, and then if we get like the Moto Z or something, next, that'll be like Google's phone for all the carriers, and then just like what happened now, they'll make special Droids for Verizon. So I don't think we can really get away from that now. So, but
I think it's sending their brand name into obscurity because by the time these new flagships come out, nobody's going to remember the Moto X. I bet I couldn't have 10 people off the street tell me what the Moto X even is. And I know they had that large campaign and everything at the time, but by now everybody's again it's that evil Apple mojo. But it's seriously by the time everybody is done with this iPhone stuff, that no one's going to remember the Motorola phones. I don't even think anybody could name one of the Droids that are. I know it's the Droid Max, the Droid Ultra, and the Droid something.
Mini, yeah.
Yeah, and what's the difference? What is one waterproof or something? Why aren't they all waterproof then? Why are we screwing around with 3 different models? Just make
Well, that's like they have the Galaxy S3. There was the Galaxy S3, and then there's the Galaxy S3 that's waterproof, and I don't know what it was called.
The Active.
There we go, the Active, where it was like waterproof and it was scratch resistant and this, that, and the other.
Well, I want my phone to be scratch resistant and waterproof. I don't want to buy a special phone for that.
Right.
Just make 2 models. Make a $199 and make a $99 one and call it a day. Quit doing this.
That's what they did, Mike. That's all it is. Verizon just wants to hit the price points. They got $299, that's the Max. Mm-hmm. $199, that's the Ultra. And they got $99. That's the Mini.
Well, you ain't gonna sell a $299 phone. You might as well just put that one in a box on the shelf and let people look at it, because nobody's gonna spend an extra $100 on a phone that's not the iPhone, and go, well, what am I getting out of this? Bigger screen.
The screen is the same size on the Ultra and the Max, but the reason I would pay more for it is the battery and for the 32 gigabytes.
So get a Moto X. Then get a Moto X. That's got both of those.
Yeah, nobody knows about the Moto X because when you go to Verizon, they
don't tell you about the Moto X. The Moto X only has 16 gigabytes.
They push the Droid. The Moto X is a very, unfortunately, it's a good phone, but it's ugly and nobody cares. That's the problem.
It's ugly. These phones are so ugly.
It's not ugly. Boo.
It's kind of ugly.
It's kind of ugly, yeah.
It reminds me of
New one, I guess.
It reminds me of the older Motorola phones that were coming out when they first started putting
Yep.
Android.
Yep.
When they first started putting Android on it, when they had the Moto Blur or whatever. That's what it looks like still. That's why I'm just like, I don't like it.
It looks like if you lay it flat on the table, it's got that bump on the back.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like that. No.
I still like the Moto X. I really wish I could, kind of have one as my phone for a little while and test it out, because I've heard nothing but really good things about it from all the people who actually had it and used it for like a couple of weeks. They've said that it's been great. But as you say, with Verizon specifically, they're not going to push the Moto X.
Verizon's not going to push the Moto X, no.
Because the Droid Ultra is the same thing, pretty much. So they're not going to do that. But we'll see. Motorola, at least they have a great owner in Google who doesn't care about them losing millions of dollars every quarter.
Yeah, Google doesn't care about money.
Yeah. They don't care about them losing the millions every quarter. So I'm thinking that Motorola will be around for a while. That's what I'm thinking. As long as Google backs.
Android or Google will find something to do with Motorola. They always do.
Yeah. So there's this really cool rumor going around. Everybody has been asking about this Amazon phone for as long as I can remember. Oh, when is there going to be an Amazon phone? Is there going to be an Amazon phone? So according to, I think it's Bloomberg, they are saying that Amazon is going to partner with HTC to bring 2 Amazon phones to the market next year. This should be interesting.
I want to know what they're going to do to set themselves aside from other phones.
I'll tell you what they're going to do. They're going to have an app store that doesn't have half the apps, that doesn't have access to the Play Store, and they'll finally give you the Amazon Instant Video, but just for the Amazon phone.
I just took the words right out of my mouth. Amazon Prime is going to be, because I'm an Amazon Prime person, and right now Amazon Prime, you can't really get it on tablets or anything. It like only works on the desktop. So Amazon Prime, number one, Amazon Prime is going to come to the phone. That's going to be huge. So that'll be like a Netflix competitor, Hulu competitor, and it'll only be on those Amazon phones. And
you'll probably get a free month, of course.
Of course.
Of course. And number 2, if you're an Amazon Prime member, then you'll get special things. And with the Amazon phone, you'll be able to do like some special ordering or something like that, so that they can like deliver things to you same day and all that stuff. So when you come in with your phone, all of the stuff is like synced, and you can get your packages and things much faster. That's what they're going to integrate how you get stuff with the phone much better. It'll be much tighter, I think. So I'm kind of looking forward to it.
I think they have a good chance here of, if you've ever used a Kindle Fire, they have a special launcher that they've developed that's very much focused around the content that you own through Amazon.
Right.
So providing access to that, making it easy to buy things off the Amazon content store. I think it's going to be a phone for people who like to consume Amazon content and don't really care about what kind of phone they have or what the specs are. I think it'll be great for people who are already familiar with like the Kindle Fire. Like my grandmother, for example, has one. She doesn't really know how to use it, but I think she could probably use it better than she could use, say, a regular Android tablet. So I imagine that there's definitely an audience for that. I don't see it being popular amongst people like us, but I mean, we're in the minority anyway, so that might have a chance. I mean, already I think the Kindle Fire and the Kindle Fire HD and all that are actually more popular amongst people than a lot of Android tablets are, just because Kindle is, has that name in the ebooks, and Amazon, everybody shops there. I wonder if they'll bring in that assist mode that they brought into the tablet recently, where you just press a single button and then somebody can come on your phone and tell you how to use it or how to go do the things you want to do. Because I can see that being on a phone, and then you get a phone for your grandmother or your grandfather, say, hey, you can read all your books on here, and it does all the, other stuff you like, and look at here, you can press this button anytime you want, and somebody will tell you how to fix your, how to do your stuff on your phone. I see that as being positive. This could be something good, but I don't like it myself because I hate fragmentation in the Android market. But whatever, I good for them.
I tend not. I don't even think of, when I think about Amazon now, I don't even think of them as really. I mean, I don't think of them as Android. I think of them as I mean, it's based on Android, but they're really like a fork. And with their App Store, they've just done a really, really great job about building up their own kind of ecosystem, and it just happens to be compatible with Google Play and Android. And so, you buy the apps from them, you buy the music from them. To your point, Mike, the concierge service, that would be a slam dunk. If they can figure out how to do that and do it well, like actually have people on the other end that can help you and and make it available all the time, that would be awesome, because no other phone manufacturer has anything close to a concierge service other than Vertu, and their phones are like $10,000 each. So, I think that would be great.
Their weak point is definitely their App Store, though, because a lot of the apps in the Amazon store are out of date. Some people have stopped making updates for them. Some of the developers don't care because the percentage of sales is so much lower in the App Store for Amazon than it is in the Google Play Store. And as we know, the Google Play Store doesn't have the numbers that even, like, say, iOS has. So right there, I mean, they've really got it going when it comes to video, music, and books. But I think that for those of us that appreciate having up-to-date apps and having the newest available apps as they come out, it's not going to be for that consumer. It's going to be for people who are more focused on content, I think.
Right. And it's going to be, probably made by HTC, the phone manufacturer that loves to partnership and maybe even kind of whore itself out to everybody.
They'd partner with the devil if you gave them another 2 weeks.
Yeah, they partnered with Facebook.
I wish they would partner with somebody who would give their phones better battery life, though.
You're getting those nightmares of the Incredible out of your head. Well, for me, it was the Incredible. For you, what was your HTC phone?
It was the G1.
Oh, the G1. Yeah, they're not so great at battery life.
And then, my mom had what was it? The HTC. What was the one that was that first one that came on the Sprint?
The Hero.
Evo.
Oh, Evo?
The Evo, yeah.
I would go back to far.
The Evos were terrible at battery life. Terrible.
I think that was the Evo, or wasn't one of them was a 4G, and it was an early 4G, and that's when you could drain your battery and your data plan in about 20 minutes, I think.
Yeah, it was
And then there was the 3D one.
Yeah, that was the next year. That was 2011.
They upgraded. My dad broke his, and they upgraded his to the 3D one because they didn't have the regular ones anymore. And he was just like, "Okay, I took a 3D picture, but I can only see it on the phone. What's the point?"
Yeah, it was.
There isn't a point.
No.
Oh, it was bad. Which brings us to the HTC One Max. So this is HTC's big phone to take on the Note 3. So it looks good, but again, too much bezel, and it's 5.9 inches, which means its screen is even bigger than the Note 3, but it's got more bezel, so it means it's like huge, massive phone. So, yeah. And the battery life too. I don't know how that's gonna be.
It's gonna last for like 15 minutes. I'm gonna tell you that right now.
And it has a fingerprint scanner on the back of the phone. So because they think
that's good for people who use the back of their phone a lot, I guess.
They think you're gonna rest your finger like right here. So your index finger is the one that's gonna be scanned a lot. So maybe it might work. I don't know. Maybe it might work as well as.
So does that mean that I pick up my phone and it automatically unlocks, or am I gonna? Is that an accident? Do I know that I'm touching it? I don't know about that. I like it on the front better.
Also, I'm not sold on fingerprint scanners yet. I'm a person who loves when the thing that got me to buy the G1 was the barcode scanner, even though you weren't really doing anything with it yet. But I'm not quite sold on the fingerprint scanners just yet.
I think it's cool and it's a good idea. I think that what Apple's doing with it is smart, and I'd like to see it come to Android. I think that's inevitable. I mean, as I said, we're running out of stuff to put in these phones. So I think that's at least good for competition-wise, and I think that enough people will see that and go, oh, okay, so they're trying to keep up. But I think it was probably obviously in works long before the iPhone was announced, so they were probably just hedging their bets on what the next thing was going to be.
Definitely. I completely agree with that. Though I think for that phone, it's better on the back, and I only say that because the iPhone is a teeny tiny phone compared to the HTC One Max, which is huge. So getting your finger all the way down there might be a little bit tricky, but on the back when you're holding it, it'll be much easier to get your finger, because you're holding it anyway. So you don't, because you have to hold the HTC One Max differently than you'd hold the iPhone 5S. That's what I'm thinking that their logic process.
Then you're holding it wrong.
So
you got to hit the home button. Where's the home button? They put it behind the home button.
They don't have a home.
It's
capacitive.
Oh, it's capacitive. Well,
there's no physical buttons on the HTC One's front. On the HTC, on the front of the device, there's no physical buttons. It's all capacitive. So there's that too. But one of the comments I saw online that I really liked about
I like this. I saw that.
Fingerprint scanner security. Someone said, people are worried about their privacy but have no problem carrying around a device with GPS, camera, microphone that can be accessed remotely, aimlessly pointing every waking move and thought to Facebook, Instagram, etc. And I couldn't agree more, because, we put ourselves out there anyway. So I don't have a problem with a fingerprint scanner.
Well, I think they're all hashed anyway. So they hash it and they store it locally, and then they don't take a picture of your fingerprint. Actually, what happens is when you put it back on there, it reinitializes your finger. It takes a picture, but it turns it into a hash and then just compares it to the other one. Nothing's actually stored that could be used, to breach any kind of security or even turn it back into a fingerprint. So there's really nothing to worry about there. Like you said, that's all just people not having all the facts and worrying about the wrong things. It's usually, if you expose something, like you said, if you're exposing something you don't want people to know, it's probably your own fault.
Yeah, more often than not. So HTC One Max, can't wait to see it in the store and play with it, see what it feels like. I know it's going to be big, too big, but we'll see. So what do you guys want to talk about? Because I'm going to maybe we can wrap this up pretty soon. Is there anything from the topic list that you wanted to look at or talk about specifically?
We should go over a couple of those headlines there. I like those. The curved glass one is good. Android or Angry Birds Go is. We should talk about that.
So the curved displays, Samsung Galaxy and the LG Flex. How do we feel about them?
I've been hearing about I've been hearing about things like this for a while. Like I've seen a couple of the videos of they were trying to make the phone on the glass that's flexible and things like that. And I think it's a cool idea, but I don't know what the use of it would be yet. And so, like, for me, when I look at the pictures of the Samsung Galaxy Round, to me it looks like it's easily breakable. It'll fit well in a pocket, like people who put their phones in their back pockets. It'll fit well, but I feel like it's easily breakable, and it actually kind of scares me.
I keep thinking, like, if you put that, I put my phone in my front pocket. So if I put it in my front pocket, do I have to turn the phone sideways so that it curves with my thigh, or what am I don't think I like it in my pocket. You know what I mean?
I don't know about the practicality, and then the curve is the interesting part as well, right? Because on the Samsung Galaxy Round, right, the round is curved kind of horizontally, so it's like it curves on its back, and it can go from side to side, so it's curved that way. But the LG Flex is curved on the top and it's curved on the bottom, so it like would hug your face a little better. But the Galaxy Round is curved on the sides, so, and I'm torn. Like, I don't know which way I want it curved. If that makes any sense. I
think it should curve the way that doesn't break when you drop it on the ground. That's
why are we
working on? Why are we working on curved glass? We still can't figure out how to make indestructible glass. That would be number one. Let's make glass that don't break, and then we can worry about what shape it is. That would be better, I think.
Actually, going back to why aren't all of the phones waterproof? How come more phones don't have Gorilla Glass or something like that to keep them from the screens from
They
shattering?
do, but the Gorilla Glass ain't any better either. There just need to be just one slab of glass. You don't even need anything around it. Just give me a piece of indestructible glass and put all the stuff around it.
Keyword indestructible. Yeah, but there's no practical reason to have curved glass, I feel like, at this point. I
want transparent aluminum. That's what I want. Give me a transparent aluminum screen.
I just don't see this really taking off or doing anything to really, revolutionize the mobile industry such as it is. It's just...
Isn't there a feature on one of them where it'll show you data if you look at the side of the phone?
Yeah, that's more of the that's more Samsung doing that than LG. LG's trying to curve like a banana, right? Like they're trying to curve like a banana, whereas Samsung's kind of trying to curve the sides and stuff a little bit. So
I can see, like, if it fell on its face and it hit the bezel instead of the screen because it was curved in, that might be
that's just the point.
I feel like even if it hits the bezel, that impact, the way the screen's shaped, it's gonna... I'm trying to think of what the impact would look like on the screen and how it would crack. I feel like it would crack it still.
It would still probably crack.
And I feel like it would be just the whole... Yeah. I feel like the curve is just gonna make the crack even worse. Right. Like I can just see it hitting, and then the crack just going all the way across the screen.
Yeah, spider web. Yeah, I can see that too. Yeah, Mike, they just have to come up with indestructible glass. That's what we need.
Yeah, transparent aluminum.
Somebody make it happen.
Please. I would love that.
So yeah, Angry Birds Go. Man, Angry Birds.
Yay!
It's been around for so long. It's like the number
3 years now.
Yeah, 3 or more years.
3 whole years. But it's doing pretty well for itself. Rovio's been doing a pretty good job.
What? They've been killing it. With this Birds and Slingshot, that should have gone out of style a long time ago. They revamped that thing so many times.
But they're doing a good job. They did a good job by partnering with Star Wars and doing the Angry Birds space. They revamped it by changing the physics there. They did Bad Piggies, which is an entirely different game. Now they're doing the Angry Birds Go. I think I feel like they realize that once they hit a point where it gets a little stale, they need to make a drastic leap somewhere else, and it's working for them.
It is.
I've been looking for a go-karting game that's, similar to Mario Kart for years. I didn't find anything on Android that was quite on that level of quality. You know what I mean? So if they can do a good job of making it, really feel like, the console version of a go-karting game, I think that would be really good, because my kids love playing like Mario Kart and stuff like that, and I loved that game when I was a kid. I can see a lot of people wasting a lot of hours on something like that, as long as it really has the quality that you expect from like a Nintendo or something.
Yeah. Angry Birds is definitely taking a page out of Mario and Nintendo's book, and I think it's really It's good. They're doing the right thing. They're going about it the right way. Just like how Mario, you never would have thought, a platformer with Mario rescuing the princess would be a go-kart game. Like but there it is, and they made it work. And Rovio's doing the same thing with Angry Birds, and I can't wait. The trailer looks great. I actually watched it. It actually looks really good.
It looks super fun.
Yeah, it does look fun.
I remember Kevin Rose saying years ago that he wished that he had designed something like Rovio did with Angry Birds, where you just create the game and then you sit on it because it just makes money and all you had to do was make the game. But even in that respect, Rovio didn't do that. Rovio just kept plugging away and doing variants on it, and then they got the plush toys, and I mean, so they think about how much you spend on an Angry Birds T-shirt versus the 99 cents you spent on the game itself. You know what I mean?
Rovio did a good job to where once the game started getting popular, they instantly picked up on it and was like, okay, we have to find some other way. Like, we can make money on this, but we can make money on other things as well. As soon as it got popular, they snatched it up and like, okay, well, we'll do this.
Right.
We'll spread it out this way. And that was really smart of them. That was super smart of them.
The movie came out, too. The movie was so good as well. I mean, it was brilliant. It was brilliant. They deserve, the slow.
And they know who to market what to.
Right. Right.
And they've just done a really good job. They're smart dudes.
They're smart.
They made themselves a real standard too. I mean, for a long time there it was, is this phone any good? Well, it runs Angry Birds. Oh, well then it must be okay. I mean, I remember for the longest time that was your high water mark. Can you run Angry Birds or not?
Right. And I remember when Android couldn't even run Angry Birds. I was so angry.
Yep.
I was like, what? Yeah. Yeah, that's a good point, Mike. That's a really good point. So let's jump into some of the carrier news. T-Mobile, man, they're doing away with their truly unlimited data with the grandfather plans. So they're killing them off by, I think it's January of 2014. So pretty much anybody who's on those old grandfather T-Mobile unlimited data plans, they are being sent emails and letters to ask them to switch to one of the new plans. So, which again is unfortunate, and I'm actually a little bit surprised that T-Mobile is doing this, because I thought Verizon would have done this long before T-Mobile would have done this, because there's those of us like myself and my wife who are hanging on to our unlimited data on Verizon, like,
Oh my God, how did you keep it? Okay, wait, I need to know how you kept it, because as soon as they could, they got me off of mine.
So the way that you keep it on Verizon, there's several ways, but the easiest way is you have to be on a family plan. That's the first thing. So my wife and I were on a family plan with other members of our family. Now, 2 members on the family plan have dumb phones, and they never upgrade. So I use that to our advantage. So every time we want to use an upgrade, we upgrade their line, the dumb phone lines, and then we get the phone for like $200. We upgrade their lines, and then once we get the phone, we activate it on their line. Then we come back, we say, no, we didn't want to do that, and we switch it back to the dumb phone that they had previously. Then we take the new device that we just got for $200 and we give it to ourselves. And we swap our old device with the new one. That's how you have to do it.
You shyster.
As soon as I went to upgrade my phone, they were like, oh yeah, by the way, that unlimited plan, no more.
Yeah, you have to have another person on your plan in order to use the upgrade, and then you have to activate your new phone on their upgrade line. And then you just call them back and you say, no, I don't want that new phone anymore, I want the old one. They switch it back, and then the new one is still there, but it has no service, but it only costs you $200, and then you just swap that with your unlimited data one, and the unlimited data stays, and the new device comes on. So that's how you do it.
I think I've solved this carrier problem. I don't know, you guys have probably talked on the phone with somebody, and they want you to upgrade your contract and get you to sign up for another 2 years, and then they want you to drop your godfathered-in data plan. your grandfathered in Godfather data plan. But
I feel
think
like a
that what we need to do
plan is way more dangerous.
Yeah. Godfather data plan might cost you a hand.
Yeah, I think what we need to do is we need to get like Conan O'Brien live on the air to call up like Verizon or T-Mobile, whoever he has, and go through this procedure and have them tell him on the air so we can all hear it on live television what's really going on, so that finally these can be exposed, because we've all had this experience of calling them up and not having them give us what we want even though we're willing to pay for it. I'd love to see that happen on like a nationwide like basis so everybody can see it. It kind of reminds me of like when that guy tried to cancel his AOL and he recorded the phone conversation so everybody could hear how hard it was to cancel your AOL.
Right.
I think something like that would really help get all these companies on board to say, oh, well, that's not our practice and all this stuff. And I would really like to see somebody who can carry some weight, really attack this problem. Maybe human way, like a Conan O'Brien or something. But somebody needs to go and expose these people for for what they're really doing here.
Yeah. I wish that would happen. I don't know if that's gonna happen, but I wish it would.
No, it won't happen.
Yeah. Yeah. It's just not big enough of an issue for everybody to be up in arms about. But
Basically.
if it were a big enough issue and people were not upgrading their phones because they wanted to keep unlimited data, you would see, I think, a difference, because the carriers would be like, uh-oh, these people aren't upgrading their phones, or they're leaving to go to a carrier. If T-Mobile got like 33 million subscribers in a quarter because everybody wanted their unlimited data, then you would see something happen. You would definitely see something happen. But because that's not happening, you're not going to see it happen. We just take it. We just take it, unfortunately, as the customer.
Yeah, we don't have enough competition, and our country's just too large to where we can't get enough coverage from all the different carriers to really have the real competition we need. Like in Europe, these guys pay like ridiculously low rates for data, because first of all, there's they've got coverage everywhere. There's your country's only the size of one state.
Right, the land.
And then right, and then also you don't have 4 carriers that are essentially more like 2.5 carriers. And of those carriers, they're all actually competing. They're all saying, hey, we don't have subsidized rates here, so, we're going to give you a good deal on your data, essentially pay for your phone outright. Whereas here in this country, you could buy your phone outright, and they'll still make you sign up for 2 years of service just to get a data rate that's not outlandish,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And part of that is, too, which actually goes really well with our next topic, is the global standard, right? GSM. So the fact that in Europe, and especially like in places like the UK and Germany, the phones all work on the exact same technology. It's not like CDMA and GSM competing, right? So you can't. It's not like you can't take a phone from any carrier and put it on any other carrier. That's a huge difference in Europe as well. So, T-Mobile is saying now that they have like global data plans and whatnot, and they actually do. Like when I went overseas, my phone was with T-Mobile, and then it switched automatically, and that was nice, so that you can have your data in other countries. And T-Mobile can do something like this without having to really make their phones much different, because they work on GSM. So you can take your phone to another country, and it will work there with their SIM cards properly, which is not always the case with Sprint and Verizon. So I think that makes a big difference too. That's why in Europe it's more like all the carriers are fighting for your dollars, and they're willing to come down on price because they're all seen as the same. They're like the same kind of substitutes. While here in the United States, that's not the case at all. You can't bring a phone that's on Verizon to T-Mobile, or you can't bring a phone that's on AT&T to Sprint. So.
And Verizon's whole big thing is we're expensive, but we're reliable, and you can get us almost anywhere. So why would you leave?
Right.
Yeah, we really need to get a system in this country that's a lot like we do our own internet, where it doesn't matter who your internet provider is, you can plug any computer into your router or get on your Wi-Fi, and you're good. You know, they're a dumb pipe for your content. And we really need to get the carriers like that because.
Oh no, we lost Mike. But anyhow, that story makes me depressed because you know it should be like more like how it is in Europe, where the carriers are just dumb pipes, and you bring whichever phone you want to each of them.
Right.
That's it. Done. So, anyhow, our next story. Do you play a lot of games, Deanna, on your phone or?
A little bit. Of course I do Angry Birds. Everybody does Angry Birds. Of course I do Candy Crush because it's just addictive.
Darn addictive.
Addictive games. I played Bad Piggies. I played Space. What was it? Angry Bunnies or Space Bunnies?
Yes, Space Bunny. Right.
Yes, I do a lot of the casual games on my phone and my tablet. Yeah.
Okay. Oh, sorry, Mike. We lost you there for a minute.
Yeah, I don't know what happened. I'm back now.
Yeah, we moved on because we didn't like that depressing topic of how Verizon loves to control your every move on its mobile network and will not let you go to another network without some type of human sacrifice. So
you don't need your firstborn child. Just give it here.
Yeah. We moved on from that topic. And the Humble Bundle with Android 7. I've bought several of the Humble Bundles. I love them. They have the Humble Bundle, for those people who don't know, it's a way for you to pay kind of like a donation for a certain amount of games. So there might be 4 games in a pack, and you can pay, whatever you'd like for it. But if you pay more than a certain minimum amount, like $5, then you get additional games on top of it. So like maybe another 2 games plus the 4 you just originally purchased. So it's really, really good, and it helps out the developers because they will get more percentage than, say, maybe in the Google Play Store if you allocate it to be that way. You can allocate a certain amount for the developer, a certain amount for charity, and a certain amount for Humble Bundle, the company themselves. Like you can actually move the sliders around, and if you do $6, you can make it $2 for each, or however you want to split it out, you can split it out yourself.
How do I install the apps?
So the apps are installed, they're side-loaded, so they're not from the Google Play Store. So you literally have to, on your phone, go to the Humble Bundle website, and then you'll get a link for the app on the Humble Bundle website, and then you just tap the link, and then it'll download the...
How do I get updates?
So the way that you get updates is most of the time the Humble Bundle will actually email you, and they will say, hey, there's an update to one of the games or 2 of the games that you purchased with us, so come back and update the APK, the install file, so that you can have the latest version. But only through your email do you get the updates. You pretty much have to look at your email. So for most of us, that shouldn't be a problem, but for those of us who don't really, look at our email all that much, it might be a little bit of an issue because it does not auto-update like in the Google Play Store. So that's something to be wary about. But it's pretty good though. It's a good. It seems like it's a good bundle. None of the games that they have now, except for one, Bard's Tale, looks like a game I would play. But most of the time, I just look at the one game that I want, and I say, oh, I could get that for $2.99. But if I get all 3 of these, I get it for $5 or whatever. So it seems like it's pretty good. So check it out if you get a chance.
What?
Last but not least, app updates. So the couple apps got some really good updates this week, like Google Music, Netflix, and Google Offers. Google Music got this new update, is fantastic. It's this. So finally, how they have I'm Feeling Lucky on their search engine page. Well, they now have I'm Feeling Lucky on their music app as well. So if you tap that button, then I'm Feeling Lucky radio, then it'll pick something based on your preferences of music. So
this requires all access, though, right?
this does require all access, yes. So if you have all access, then great.
I do.
It picked this for me. I don't know why it did, Carrie Hinson, but it must have scanned my library and found this Pretty Girls Rock. So it'll scan your library, and then it'll pick something, and then it'll just start playing it like a radio station, which is pretty cool. But again, major drawback, you have to have Google Music All Access. So not everybody has that. But maybe it might work. If one of you guys have the app and you try it out, let me know if it works, because
it's gonna work for me because I have all access. I got it like as soon as it came out.
I got it too. So Mike, you might have to try it out for us and let us know if it works next week or something.
Yeah, I might. I don't listen to music, so what do I know?
And the Netflix app, actually, I don't subscribe to Netflix, but a lot of people do, and they have their Android devices, and apparently the Android Netflix app was kind of garbage. And
it still is. I haven't got the update. I would like to see this update you mentioned, because I have not got it.
Apparently the update is being well received. That it's, I don't know all of the overhauls, but they've said that it's actually usable now. The only major drawback that people are saying is that it does not have the ability for you to switch profiles. That's the only negative thing.
I see. The big problem with Netflix app is I think I've seen Netflix on multiple different boxes, and it seems like the Xbox and the Roku, they've all got it like figured out pretty well. I don't understand why for the longest time on like Android and even on iOS, the Netflix app has been real garbage. It's slow. It takes a long time to load. When you click on something, you got to wait half a second. You don't even get a response to know that you clicked on it. Their search field is among the worst of any search I've ever seen, and everything is just, I mean, it literally feels like when you push something, you got to wait 2 or 3 seconds to see if it responded. And so if any improvements there would be more than welcome. So as soon as this rolls out, I'd be happy to talk about how much I like it better than what I have right now.
I was actually one of the things, the response to when you press any of the buttons, I was reading something about it, and they were saying that like the response is 300 times better than it was before, just 300 times faster. 300 times faster.
If they would just make the button like light up to know
or something,
that would be fine. Yeah. But I mean, you push the thing, you're like, did that go? I don't know. No.
And then you click it again, and then like you accidentally pause something, and
and then like you search for like Walking Dead, and it comes up as the first thing, but then 2 things jump up underneath of it, and the whole menu pops up, and you click on the second thing, and now you have to watch, The Walking Dread or whatever the hell it was. So it's like
it was so bad. So just the worst response time ever.
Yeah. Where I don't even need to see the pictures. If they could just give me a long list of titles of movies, I can figure it out. I don't even need to know what the picture is. Just give me a list. Yeah, do an RSS feed of all the different movies you got available, and I'll just click on titles. I can read. That's how I got here.
And the search used to drive me nuts because you would search for things and it just nothing would come up. Nothing. And you're like, I know this movie is on Netflix. If I turn on my Xbox right now and I put it on the television, it's going to show me that movie's there. Why can't I find it on my tablet?
People love pictures, and people don't.
Yeah, and then the category, you type like the letter X, and it's like, nope, no movies with the letter X in it. Like, really?
None whatsoever. At all. None. No X-Men. No X-Files.
I'm sorry, guys. I don't share in your pain. I'm not a Netflix subscriber.
Netflix is great when it's great, but when it's not, oh man.
When it's plain, it's great. It's the part in between the episodes and the movies you're watching that's just a horrid mess.
Oh man. And then last but not least is Google Offers. They updated their app as well, and it just looks more like the standard Google, like Google Plus and Google Music, where they have the slide-out menu, and all, you can get all of your coupons or offers are there, and it's just organized like much more clean.
Yeah, I don't know what I ever did before I had all those Google offers to take advantage of.
I use my Google offers. Hi.
Hey, my wife uses Google offers too. I mean,
I have never
finds
even
some stuff.
opened it.
She finds
I
some
got a
stuff.
coupon for frozen yogurt that I used actually the other day. Thank
Yeah.
you very much.
Yeah, I don't use Google offers personally, but I know my wife does, and she loves it. So somebody likes it somewhere. So I'm glad that Google took the time and updated the app. So that's pretty good. So on to app recommendations. My app recommendation, of course, is SwiftKey Beta 4.3 because I feel like I'm going to be migrating to the bigger phone soon, and they just made the big phone one-handed typing a lot easier. So you can make it so that the screen, the SwiftKey comes up on like one part of the screen, so that you can actually type with just one hand on a Note 3, for example, as opposed to having to always have two hands out. And you can move the keyboard actually like around the screen, which is awesome too. So
Yeah. Moving the keyboard is no excuse for holding the phone wrong, Marcus.
yeah, I love it. I think SwiftKey is the best keyboard. Best keyboard.
I like that I never liked the swiping your finger all around until after Google put it in their keyboard, and I found myself using it, and I thought, wow, you know what? This really does save a lot of time. It's extremely accurate. Yeah, the swiping around is amazing. I'm glad all the keyboards have integrated that. It was a needed thing that for a long time I did not embrace it, but I am very happy I have it now, regardless of what brand of keyboard I have. But definitely useful. I agree with that. It makes it a lot easier to text with one hand, and you really don't even have to think about how you're spelling it because it does a really good job of just figuring out what you want. Yeah.
Get it as close as possible.
It's really good. Really good. That's my app recommendation of the week. SwiftKey Beta 3. Go get it.
And my app recommendation this week is for those of you I know we talked about games a little bit today. I play a lot of Minecraft Pocket Edition with my son. We do a lot of he'll use my phone and I'll use a tablet. And we've done I don't know if you guys are familiar with Minecraft, but you can do a lot of modding on the PC version. On the Pocket Edition, not so much. But this app that I got today, which is called Pocket Invent Editor. It's Pocket INV Editor, and what it does is it lets you go in and make major changes to your Minecraft worlds, and then go back into the game and experience the changes you made. Nice. And if so you can change from creative to survival mode, so you can build a really cool world in creative and then go into survival mode and try to live in that world for a little while. You can generate things that it would be impossible for you to build, like spheres and pyramids that are the size of the entire map. So you could do a lot of fun stuff with it, and really it adds every now and then I'll get a little bored with Minecraft and I'll try to find a new way to spice it up a bit. And I don't know if you guys are fans of it, but once you start playing Minecraft, you really get hooked. It's a fun game, and this thing only makes it better. So that's my recommendation is Pocket Invent Editor.
Cool. Deanna, do you have an app recommendation for the week?
I do. My app recommendation is actually the Feedly app. They actually just did an update a couple days ago. Feedly, when Google Reader went out of commission, Feedly was pretty much the I was so sad too. I love Google
That's
Reader.
the go-to app, yeah.
Yeah, Feedly was the one that everybody was like, go to Feedly. It's great. And on desktop it was really good, but on tablets and on phones it wasn't that great. But they actually just did an update where they fixed the widget on it. Now the widget actually works instead of sending you to a web page and being like, oops, we're sorry, it's crap. Hooray. So the widget works. Now it syncs better with your Google account. It's so much better than it used to be. And
the problem I had with it, and you could probably tell me if they've made any improvements here, the first time I signed up for it, it asked me like all kinds of different preferences for what I like to look at, and then it just made some assumptions, and it added a bunch of stuff to my feed to the point where it made it unfun to use because I spent more time trying to get everything that I didn't want out of there. So if they'd improve that a bit, that would be good. I'll have to go take another look at that because before it was just unmanageable.
I don't think it does that. Now it's a lot more manageable on the tablet and on the phones. I've always liked the design of it. I just never liked the way that it was executed. But it's executed better now with the update. So check it out. I would say go play around with it again. Yeah, because now I like the app. Before I was just like, oh, whatever. But now I actually am really enjoying it.
Cool.
Yeah, I got to a point there where at this point I'm just using Twitter and Pocket. And I just pocket the stories I want to read later, and then that sort of becomes my reading list. But yeah, I'd like to go take another look at Feedly because I was big on following all the RSS feeds for a while there, and I've just kind of dropped off to just following the headlines I'm interested in now.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Cool. Nice app selection, guys. That was really good. So we're gonna bring this podcast to a close. If you want to get in touch with myself, I'm Marcus at AndroidVisionary.com. You can email me if you have any questions or anything like that. And the site is www.androidvisionary.com. It's going to be coming online soon. I know it's still kind of under construction, but just be patient with me. So where can everybody find you, Deanna?
You can find me at nerdgasmnoir.net. I'm the editor and one of the writers and a podcaster there. And you can also find me on Twitter at NannyCoolJ.
Cool. Great. Mike, where can everybody find you?
They can mind their own business and leave me alone this week. I'm busy. MikeFullerShow.com has everything I do, and I don't do much, so it's a quick read.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys so much for coming on the show. Really enjoyed having you. Until next week, Visionaries, this is Marcus, and take care, and hope you guys have a good weekend.
Thanks, Marcus.